School tonight. We've got the Rutland High Red Raiders playing host, or being hosted by the Hartford Hurricanes. The Red Raiders come into tonight's ball game with an overall record of 10-5 and a record of 5-1 in the Marble Valley League A division. Mark Carbonell doing the play-by-play. Brian Mayhew on the camera, and we're going to get the starting lineups here.
Now introducing starting lineups. First for Rutland, 6'1" senior, number 14, Mike Severson.
6'1" senior, Mike Severson, number 14.
6'1" senior, number 20, Luke Barron.
6'1" senior, Luke Barron.
6'4" junior, number 21, Stuart St. Peter.
6'4" junior, Stuart St. Peter. Jimmy Anagnos, the 6'1" senior. And Jeff Sen, 6 foot senior. Well, that's the Raider lineup, and we'll get the Hartford lineup here.
The Hartford Hurricanes. A 5'7" senior, number 14, Jason Golder.
Golder, number 14.
5'11" sophomore, number 12, Jason Gardner.
Jason Gardner, 5'7" sophomore.
6 foot sophomore, number 20, Randy St. Peter.
Randy St. Peter, the 6 foot sophomore.
A 6 foot sophomore, number 32, Greg Sheldon.
Greg Sheldon, another 6 foot sophomore.
And a 6 foot senior co-captain, number 44, Jeff Marino.
And Jeff Marino, the 6 foot senior. So that's the Hurricane lineup. Hurricanes coming in tonight's ball game with an overall record of 4-10. We're going to have the playing the national anthem, and we'll be right back. Okay, back here at Hartford High School for the ball game between the Rutland High Red Raiders and the Hartford Hurricanes. Getting ready to tip it off now. Jumping center will be Stuart St. Peter, and he'll be facing Jeff Marino of the Hurricanes. Raiders coming into this one here after a tough loss up at South Burlington on Saturday afternoon, and they'll have another tough ball game after this one going up against the Mounties on Friday night. But first hand is the Hurricanes, and they'll gain control, and driving in there was number 12, that's Gardner, loses control, and so the Raiders will inbound it. Here we go to Barron now. Barron brings it in for the Raiders to Mike Severson, sets it up and hits it. Severson puts the Raiders on the board 2-0 here with 7:43 left in the first quarter. Over to Golder. Golder now gets it into Marino. Marino back to Golder up on top. Over to St. Peter. St. Peter now into Marino. Marino into Golder. Golder drives into the lane, puts up the one-hander. And Stuart St. Peter clears for the Raiders to Sin, to Anagnos. And Jimmy loses the handle going underneath the basket there, so the ball will come back to Hartford. 7:14 here in the first quarter of play, 2-0. The Raiders on top. Goes to Golder, the St. Peter, and it's stolen away. Anagnos had it, and he lost it. Goes back to Hartford now. And Hartford will inbound it. Goes to Gardner now. Gardner to Golder. And the Marino. Marino out on. Back to Gardner. Looking for help. Not much movement there in that Hartford offense. This is Marino now. Marino driving in. Raider defense stiffening here in the first quarter. 6:35 left, and the Canes throw it out of bounds. 2-0. The Raiders are up. Ball goes into Sin now. We've got Sin Anagnos. Barron into St. Peter, and off the back of the rim, the rebound controlled by Hurricanes. And this is Gardner who brings it up. Almost looked like he turned it over there, but stepping up is Golder, and he puts it off the glass. And Sin pulls it down for the Raiders. Loses it, and it's saved by Marino. It goes into the Raiders' hands. Now it goes back to Marino. He finally picks it up, and it's a Hartford ball now with 6:02 left, first quarter underneath, and the shot goes up off the glass. Rebound Sievertson, and he gets it ahead to Jeff Sin, who brings it in. Little dish to St. Peter off the glass, doesn't go. And Hartford brings the ball back. 5:47 left, first quarter, and it's 2-0. The Raiders are up here underneath, and they work it back out now to St. Peter. Back to Golder now. Golder for the Hurricanes out front. 5:32 left, first quarter action here from Hartford High. Back to Gardner now to Marino. Looks inside to Gardner, who takes a shot. Off the rim, controlled by Sievertson of the Raiders. And he wanted to go to Jeff Sin. It's knocked out of bounds there by Gardner. 5:15 left, first quarter action. 2-0. The Raiders are up here. Sievertson with the ball now. Gets it to Sin to Barron. Over to Anagnos. Now back to Sievertson. Over to Barron to Anagnos. Down in the corner. Back to Barron. Jeff Sin drives in, takes the jump shot, and it's good. Jeff Sin with the bucket for the Raiders, and it's 4-0. 4:52 left, first quarter action here from Hartford. Gardner wanted to go inside to Marino, and it's knocked away. Sin drives to the lane, puts it up, and it doesn't go. They're going to get Jeff Sin on the offensive foul. And Hartford will bring it back the other way. 4:39 left, first quarter here. Golder looking for help. He gets it to Gardner. Gardner brings it up now for the Hurricanes. And he wanted to drive into the lane. It's picked up by Barron ahead to Sin, who stops and pops, and it's good. Jeff Sin puts the Raiders up 6-0 here. 4:22 left, first quarter. Long down court pass. Goes into Sheldon, who puts it up, and it goes over everything. It's tipped out of bounds. Oh, now we got a timeout called by Hartford, and we'll take a timeout. 6-0. The Raiders over the Hurricanes here. Rutland Region Community Television. Okay, back at Hartford High, the Raiders on top here, 6-0 over the Hurricanes with 4:14 left in the first quarter of play. Raiders going with the starting lineup. We've got Sievertson, Sin, Barron, Anagnos, and St. Peter in there. The ball goes to Sin now. Jeff brings it up, and he's going to take this from outside off the back of the rim, but Barron rebounds and puts it in. Luke Barron with the bucket for Rutland here, and it's 8-0 Raiders. And we're down to the 3:58 mark in the first quarter. Steal by, Anagnos tipped it away, but the Hartford gets it back. Marino goes in to Sheldon, who gets the bucket. And Hartford's on the board with 3:46 left. 8-2 the Raiders. Sievertson going to Barron, down to Sin. Thought about the three-pointer. Now he drives and dishes it to St. Peter. Back to Sievertson, who puts it up. Doesn't get the bounce, and it's rebounded by Sheldon of the Hurricanes. Now they go to the, let's see, that's Golder bringing it up here for Hartford. Into the lane, a little dish. And nothing doing. A follow by Sheldon off the glass, and it's good. St. Peter put it up, and then Sheldon finished it here. 8-4 the Raiders with 3:10 left. First quarter, Jeff Sin, and that one's short, but the rebound by Sievertson. Mike Sievertson fouled on the play, and he'll step to the free throw line. Raiders up here 8-4 with 3:04 left. First quarter action, and Mike comes up short on that attempt. He'll have another one coming though. The 6'1" senior puts through one of 2 free throws for the Raiders, and it's 9-4. And we're down to 2:58 left in the first quarter of play here from Hartford High School tonight. This is Gardner now, and he gets it to Marino. Marino back to Gardner. Stops and pops, and it's short. The rebound is pulled down, and St. Peter, he's going to be traveling in the lane, so the ball goes back to Rutland here. 2:36 left, first quarter action, 9-4. The Raiders up, and each team here with one team foul. This is Barron who gets it ahead to Severson. Severson now to Barron, who's going to light it up from outside, and it's in and out. The rebound, Jeff Sin with the attempt at the shot, and he's fouled on the play. And he'll get 2 shots coming here. Sin will step to the charity stripe. In the ball game is Jeremy Duran for Hartford, and also number 21 McCarthy. St. Peter and Gardner go out. And Sin makes it 10-4 now. The Raiders on top. And Jeff's second attempt is good also. So Sin sinks them both, and the Raiders move up 11-4 here. 2:20 left, first quarter action. This is Golder now, who puts it in the lane. Wanted to go to Marino, cutting through there, and he didn't get it. Barron comes back the other way. We got a foul before the shot. And this will put 14 gets the free throw, gets the foul. That's Golder. And the Raiders will inbound it. Sin to Barron, and then Severson in the corner drives the base. Goes to Anagnos, back to Severson. They're going to get Jimmy Anagnos for steps. 11-4, the Raiders up here, 2:01 left. And that pass is run down by Sheldon. And inside underneath the basket, no good. Duran, puts it up, no good. And the rebound is pulled down by Marino, who puts it up. It's tipped away, and it's out of bounds. So McCarthy tried to save it for Hartford. 1:49 left here, first quarter. The Raiders up 11-4. This is Anagnos now for the Raiders. And he gets it to Severson. Mike puts it up and in, off the glass. Casey Jones shot there off the glass, and it's 14-4 the Raiders with 1:34 left. First quarter action here from Hartford High. The Raiders and the Hurricanes. Scramble for it, and it's knocked away, and St. Peter picks it up for the Raiders. Gets it ahead to Barron now. Barron brings it up against Marino. And they're going to get Luke Barron for steps out there. So this turns the ball back to Hartford with 1:17 left. And we got some subs checking in for the Raiders here. Anderson, Penny, Barassa, and John Barker checks in for Rutland. And Jeff Sin is still out there. That's the lineup for the Raiders with 1:15 left. 14-4. The Raiders up here against Hartford. Marino now. Looking to go inside. Gets it to Duran, who stops and pops, and it's good. Jeremy Duran with the basket for Hartford, and it's 14-6. And we're under a minute here in the first quarter of play. This is Barker now. John Barker for the Raiders. Goes across to Brian Penny. Penny to Jeff Sin. Sin drives in, flips it back to Barker. Gets it to Penny. They go inside to Anderson now. Back to Sin. Jump shot, and it's in and out. Rebound, Barassa. And Mark Barassa puts it in. 16-6. The Raiders up by 10 here with 30 seconds left in the first quarter of play. Back the other way. Golder put it up, and the rebound is put up by Duran. Doesn't go. Back the other way. 20 seconds left. First quarter. Penny wanted to go to Anderson inside. It's pulled away by Marino. Now it's knocked away by Penny. Back to Duran. Back to Duran underneath the basket, and it's good. 16-8 and 8 seconds left on the first quarter clock here. Back to Sin now for the Raiders. Stops and pops at the buzzer, and it doesn't go. After one quarter of play here, 16-8, the Raiders over the Hurricanes on Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Hey, back here at Hartford High School tonight for varsity action. It's 16-8, the Rutland High Red Raiders over the Hartford Hurricanes. And we're getting ready for second quarter play here. The Raiders going with the same lineup at the end of the first quarter with Barassa inside off the glass. Pretty play by the Raiders. And Rutland's up 18-8 to open the second quarter here. This is Golder now. Golder going to McCarthy. McCarthy for the Hurricanes. Back to Golder. Golder's in there. Duran, Marino. And also number 10 for the Hurricanes. That's Kells. Inside to Duran off the glass. A little too hard, and it's rebounded by Barassa, the Raiders. He gets ahead to Penny. Brian Penny now. Inside all by himself. Ben Anderson off the glass. Good look by Penny. And Anderson puts it through the twines there, and it's 20-8 now. The Raiders open up the lead here with 7:15. Back the other way, McCarthy pumps it up, no good, and it's Golder with the rebound. Golder back up to the top of the key now. Inside to Duran, looks inside to Marino with the shot, and Marino's fouled going through the lane. Foul's going to be on Mark Barassa of the Raiders. And into the ball game now is Chris Mayhew for Jeff Sense. We've got Mayhew, Penny, Barker, Barassa, and Anderson. Anderson knocks it out. It'll be a Hurricane ball inbounded there with 7 minutes left. Second quarter play. Marino gets it into McCarthy now. McCarthy, little push off there, and that's a good call. The offensive foul going against McCarthy of the Hurricanes. So that'll put the ball back in the Raiders' court with 6:57 left. Second quarter play. Penny goes into Anderson now. Anderson to Barker. Barker now into Penny. Penny to Chris Mayhew. Mayhew to Anderson. Cut through, and it's up and in. Nice ball movement there by the Raiders, and Anderson gets the bucket. 22-8 Rutland. That'll fall down the other end. And let's see, Chris Mayhew picks up the personal for Rutland. So with 6:38 left, the Raiders are on top 22-8. And checking back in is Gardner for the Hurricanes, and he'll replace Jeff Marino. Pass goes to McCarthy, who puts it up and in. So McCarthy gets the bucket for Hartford, and it's 22-10, the Raiders, with 6:30 left in the second quarter here. Going inside, and John Barker travels. So the Raiders will turn it back over to the Hurricanes. McCarthy going long ball here to, whoa, there's a foul down at that end. That was Gardner getting hammered going in for the shot. This will put Gardner on the line here for the Hurricanes. The Raiders up 22-10, 6:24 left in the second quarter of play. And he's got another one coming here. And he gets one of two and makes it 22-11 now. Checking back in is Mike Severson. So it's Severson, Penny, Barker, Mayhew, and Anderson for the Raiders. Mayhew going to Barker now. Barker gets it inside to Anderson underneath to Severson. Shot was partially blocked, but McCarthy stepped on the line going through, so the ball comes back to the Raiders. Mayhew will inbound it with 6:10 left here. Ball goes in, it's tipped away. Hartford picks it up. And it's controlled by Golder now. Golder looks inside. Wanted to go to Duran underneath. 6 minutes to go here, second quarter. The Raiders up 22-11. And the pass out front to Golder now. Golder working against Mayhew for the Raiders. Out front there. Gets it to Duran. Duran back to Golder. And there's a bounce pass. The shot goes in and out. And it's pulled down by Severson of the Raiders. Ahead to Mayhew. Chris drives in, bounce past Anderson. The shot is good. 24-11. Ben Anderson with the bucket for the Raiders. And with 5:29 to go, the Raiders up here. This is Duran down at the other end, and he's followed by Anderson going in. That's the 5th team foul on the Raiders, and 4 team fouls against Hartford at this point. And Coach Thompson making some wholesale substitutions here. We've got Anagnos, Sin back. Let's see, Sin's back in, Barron, and Stuart St. Peter for the Raiders. And Duran's at the foul line. He'll have another one coming here with 5:24 left. Ball tipped out of bounds. It'll be a Hartford ball. 5:23 to go, second quarter, and a 24-11 lead for the Raiders over the Hurricanes. McCarthy had it, lost it, and Sin picks it up. Jeff's going to go down all the way, up and in, off the glass. Jeff Sin makes it 26-11. And we're down to 5:13 in the second quarter. This is Gardner for the Hurricanes. On the go inside, it's kicked out of bounds. It'll be a Hartford ball. So Marino inbounds it here for Hartford. He wanted to go to Duran. It's knocked away, and it's picked up by Sin, who loses it to St. Peter. And going the other way. Nice catch by the official there. And it'll be a Hartford ball, bringing it back now. This is Kells. Kells brings it up for the Hurricanes now. We've got Kells, Duran, Marino. And Kells is going to shoot there, and McCarthy. Sin pulls it down. Gets it ahead to Mayhew now. Mayhew works back to Sin. Sin looks in, wanting to go inside to St. Peter, and it's pulled away. Marino down to McCarthy at the other end, all by himself, up and in. 26-13, the Raiders, and 4:29 left. Second quarter action here. Back to Barron. Barron to Sin now. Over to Barron to Mayhew. To Jeff Sin, and down below to St. Peter, and we got Stewart for a double dribble there. And we got some subs coming in for Hartford. You got Batchelder, number 25. Okay, and back in, let's see, the Raider lineup stays intact. Now we've got a Jimmy Anagnos in now. And Mike Severson's in there. Luke Barron, Chris Mayhew, and Stuart St. Peter for the Raiders. This is Marino. Marino down low to Golder, to Duran, back to Marino. Marino, Batchelder now at the top. Hurricanes swinging it around here. Back to Duran now. Duran wants to clear everybody out. Now they come back this way. Kells. Back to Golder. Down to 3:26 left, second quarter. Into Marino. Marino. And he loses control and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a Raider ball. 3:19 left, and so far it's been all Raiders here at this point. First half of play from Hartford High School tonight. This is Severson. And he goes to Barron now. Barron drives into the lane. Little dish to Anagnos off the glass and in. Pretty play by the Raiders. And it's 28-13 with 2:57 left in the second quarter here. This is Duran now working against Severson. Gives it to Marino. Jeff Marino now for the Hurricanes, driving against Anagnos. Back to Duran. And they go to Kells. Kells at the top of the key, working against Mayhew. Hurricanes are struggling here. Kells is going to put it up, and it goes in. Kells on the board for the Hurricanes, and it's 28-15. The Raiders with 2:24 left in the second quarter here. Back the other way now. This is Severson going to Anagnos. Back to Severson to Chris Mayhew. Mayhew back to Severson. Mike's going to take it from outside, and it's in. Mike Severson with the bucket, 30-15. The Raiders on top, 2:03 left. Second quarter of play here from Hartford High. Goes to Marino, back to Kells, now to Golder now. Goes inside to Batchelder. Having trouble on the side, goes back to Golder. Raiders with a tough defense here. There's Kells, they go inside to Batchelder. He puts up the shot and it's tipped away. Anagnos. And they call it steps on Jimmy Anagnos. Puts the ball back in the Hurricanes' hands with 1:29 left. Second quarter play, Raiders up 30-15. This is Kells now. Puts up the running one-hander and it's good. Kells puts it in for Hartford. It's 30-17, 1:15 left. Second quarter of play here from Hartford High. The Raiders, and Barron almost had it pulled away. And he hit his hand, he knocks it away. Marino comes in with the shot and up and in. Canes are making a small run, 30-19, 1:01 left. Severson now bringing it up against Marino. And there's a foul on Jeff Marino, number 44 for the Hurricanes. So the Raiders will inbound it with 53 seconds left in the second quarter. This is Severson going to St. Peter. Stuart St. Peter gets it to Chris Mayhew. Mayhew now. And into the middle of the top to Barron, who puts it up and gets the roll. Luke Barron with the basket, 32-19. The Raiders up with 38 seconds left in the second quarter. Back the other way now. The Hurricanes. Golder want to go to Batchelder. It's knocked away. Anagnos. Back to Barron, who puts it off the glass. Doesn't go. And it's picked up by Marino. He races ahead of everybody now. He's got Anagnos to beat. He stops, and St. Peter pulls it down. To Jimmy Anagnos, who gets it to Luke Barron, and Marino knocked it away, but he's out of bounds. And it'll be a Rutland ball out of bounds here with 14 seconds left. 32-19, second quarter action from Hartford High. This is St. Peter inside to Anagnos off the glass, doesn't go, and the rebound is pulled down by Jeremy Duran of Hartford ahead to Kells. And we got a carry. Kells carries the ball, so that'll be a turnover back to the Raiders. And back in for the Raiders is Jeff Sin. So we got Sin, Severson, Anagnos, St. Peter, and Jeff Sin off the glass, up and in. Nice play, and it's 32-19, and that's just about where it's going to stay. After two quarters of play, the Raiders 34, the Hurricanes 19. You're watching Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Okay, back here at Hartford High School, where it's third quarter action ready to begin. And the Rutland High Red Raiders on top here, 34-19 over the Hartford Hurricanes. 9-5. The Raiders coming into the night's ball game with a record of 10-5 overall, looking for a win here to keep these. Of course, they've qualified for the playoffs, and like Coach Thompson said, every game is important now because it solidifies your standings when it comes to the playoff selection in a couple of weeks. So every win is important from here on in, and the Raiders going with tough schedule down the next couple of weeks here. They've got Hartford, of course, the Hurricanes here tonight, and then of course back to Rutland on Friday night, where they'll be playing the Mounties down at Convent Avenue. Here we go for second half action, and the Hurricanes inbound it. Goes to Marino, who gets it to Duran, and he puts it up, and it comes up short. Kells puts it back up and bounced around, and it's kept alive. Kells loses it out of bounds to be a Raider ball. 7:48 here, just into the third quarter of play, and the Raiders up 34-19. This is Sin and Anagnos in there, Barron, Severson, and St. Peter. Ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be a Hurricane ball. Clock down to 7:38 here in the third quarter. Marino's going to throw it down there, and the ball goes to Duran, who puts it up, and he comes up short. Rebound, Anagnos. And St. Peter has it tipped away from him by Duran. Back the other way in the lane, the shot goes up and it's no good, and Jeff Sin pulls it down ahead to Barron. And Barron goes back to Sin. Sin drives in, puts up to the pass to Anagnos off the glass, and Jimmy puts the Raiders up 36-19 now. This is Golder working against Barron now for the Hurricanes. He gets it to Kells. Kells working against Mike Severson out there. Now it goes back to Golder. Golder goes inside to turn around, and it's put up by Duran. It doesn't go, and it's pulled down by Jeff Sin of the Raiders. Sin gets it to Severson. Over to Barron now. Barron working against Kells. Luke Barron drives in the lane and dishes to Severson outside. A shot no good, and it's rebounded by Kells. Kells pulls it down, drives in, and Barron with the defensive play ahead to St. Peter. Drives, the bounce pass to Anagnos, and he scores. 38-19, 6:20 left in the third quarter, and the Raiders cruising in this one at this point. Back to Kells now. Kells working against Severson of the Raiders, down inside to Marino. A couple of good football players there. Marino working against Jeff Sin. And it's tipped away, and it's picked up by Sin now. Jeff drives in, and it's stolen away by Marino. Marino works it down the other way. He swoops it over there to Duran, who puts it in. Jeremy Duran. And it's 38-21, 5:43 left. Third quarter of play here from Hartford. And Marino stuck his hand in there, didn't get the foul, and they go to Barron with the bucket for the Raiders. 40-21. The Raiders on top with 5:27 left in the third quarter. Back the other way now. Marino goes into the lane, and he puts it off the glass and in. Jeff Marino makes it 40-23 with 5:13 left. Anagnos going to Barron now. Barron drives, dishes it to Severson, and he gets it. Mike Severson in the lane. 42-23, 5:02 left, third quarter. And back the other way. This is Kells for Hartford. He gets it to Golder. Golder now working against Barron. Goes in, he stops, pops it back out to Kells, who puts it up. Doesn't go, but Duran is there, and Duran's going to be fouled on the play. And the foul going against Luke Barron of the Raiders. And into the ball game comes, let's see, Brian Penny, John Barker, Ben Anderson's in there, Mark Barassa, and Jimmy Anagnos remains in for the Raiders. This will put Jeremy Duran on the free throw line. And Duran doesn't get the free throw. He's got another one coming though. And he gets one of two. Duran makes one of two free throws for Hartford. And it's 42-24. Anagnos bringing it up, goes to Anderson. Anderson wanted to go to Barassa, and it's kicked. 4:32 left. Third quarter play here from Hartford High. It's the Hurricanes and the Raiders. The Raiders on top, 42-24. Anagnos inbounds it for the Raiders, and he wants to go to Penny. Penny drives in, puts it up. Rebound Duran ahead to Marino. Fires the pass to Kells, and it goes in off the glass. Now it's Golder, number 14 for Hartford with the basket. So Golder gets the bucket for Hartford, and it's 42-26. And back the other way come the Raiders with Barker going inside to Anagnos, to Barassa, and it doesn't go. Anderson tried to tip it. Barassa gets it off the glass. Mark Barassa working hard for the Raiders, and it's 44-26. 3:58 left, third quarter. Back the other way, Kells now for Hartford. Goes to Marino. Marino hands it to Golder. Golder works it back to Kells. Kells and Golder outside. Now they go back. Now they go to the left side. And they want to set something up there. The Raiders packing it in tight here on the defense. Tipped away, and there you go. It's picked up by Anagnos. Loses it, gets it back, and he goes to Barker, but John travels with it. And St. Peter checks back in for the Raiders. Jimmy Anagnos takes a seat, so we've got St. Peter, Anderson, Barker, let's see, Barassa, and Penny. This is Golder for Hartford now. 44-26, the Raiders on top. 3:20 left in the third quarter of play. It's at the Sheldon, over to McCarthy now. Marino pops, and it's no good. The rebound controlled by Barassa of the Raiders to St. Peter, who drives in, puts it off the front of the rim, and it's pulled down by Golder. Races and comes into the lane. He's called for a charge. Golder gets called for the charge, and it'll be a Raider ball. Out of bounds, 2:55 left, third quarter action. 44-26, the Raiders. Goes to Barker to Penny. Now they go to St. Peter. Stuart St. Peter dribbles it up. Looking against McCarthy. Want to go to Barker and Marino, or Jeremy Duran puts it in for Hartford. Well, Duran gets the bucket, and it's 44-28. This is Barker, and he's fouled by Jeff Marino. And this will be the second team foul against Hartford. The Raiders have one in this quarter. St. Peter, and they're going to call 5 seconds against the Raiders, so it'll be 2:33 left on the clock. Hartford ball. Third quarter action. McCarthy gets it into Gardner, who's in the ball game for Hartford now. Back to Gardner. Gardner drives in, and he goes across to McCarthy. Back to back to Gardner now. Gardner wanted to go inside, and there's a foul. Falls on Mark Barassa of the Raiders. 2:17 left, third quarter action. 44-28, the Raiders on top. Both teams have two team fouls now. Barassa comes out, and Anagnos checks back in for Rutland. This is Golder now. Golder's in for the Hurricanes. He works it over to Gardner. Now Jeremy Duran works it back out front there to Golder, and Gardner takes a shot. Duran puts it up and doesn't go, and it's tipped in by Gardner of the Hurricanes. So it's 44-30. 1:53 left, third quarter. John Barker drives in, and he's tied up, and the possession arrow favors the Raiders. So it'll stay right down there with 1:44 left. They get it into Anderson, who turns, and he gets the roll. Ben Anderson gets the bucket for Rutland, 46-30, 1:36 left in the third quarter here. Back the other way, there's Golder for the Hurricanes. Wanted to go to Gardner, and he can't save it to be a Raider ball. Jimmy Anagnos, he will inbound it for the Raiders. They're on top 46-30 with 1:26 left. Ball goes to Penny, back to Barker now. Barker and Penny in the backcourt for the Raiders. Penny goes into the lane, puts up the one-hander, doesn't go, and the rebound is off Marino of the Hurricanes, so it'll be a Raider ball. 1:13 left, third quarter action here. And a shot goes up by, it's tip in by Anderson. Let's see if the basket's good. He had a foul going against Brian Penny of the Raiders. Officials discussing whether the basket will count or not. Let's see. No basket. The foul occurred before the shot. So with 1:09 left, the Raiders up 46-30, and it'll be a Hartford ball out of bounds. This is Golder bringing it down now. Works it inside to Duran, puts up the shot, and it's blocked by Anderson. Knocks it out of bounds. And it went off the Hurricanes, so it'll be a Raider ball. Jimmy Anagnos goes to Barker. John Barker, the Raiders, goes to Brian Penny now. Penny ahead to Anagnos. Down to 52 seconds left. Third quarter, the Raiders up by 16 here, 46-30. Inside to Penny. Penny puts it up. Doesn't go. Anderson wanted to tip it. Barker controls it. Gets it ahead to St. Peter, who puts it up, and he's fouled. This will put Stuart St. Peter on the line with 38 seconds left. St. Peter's got another one. Stuart St. Peter sinks them both, and it's 48-30 now with 36 seconds left in the third quarter here from Hartford High. This is Marino driving through, doesn't get it. St. Peter rebounds, gets it ahead to Penny. Ryan goes behind the back over to St. Peter, who was underneath to Anderson, and he doesn't go. Got a foul underneath though on the play. And the Raiders will inbound it with 18 seconds left, third quarter. Landis looking for help. He finds Barker now. Barker throws it in the middle to Anderson, to St. Peter for the jumper, and it's Penny with the rebound. Bounces to Barker, who puts it up and in. John Barker for the Raiders. 50-30. 6 seconds left, third quarter now. Golder gets it to Gardner, who puts it up at the buzzer. And they're down by 20. The Raiders up here 50-30 over the Hartford Hurricanes here on Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. We'll be back. Okay, back here at Hartford High, we're getting ready to start the fourth quarter of action here. The Rutland High Red Raiders 50 and the Hartford Hurricanes 30. Hartford controlling the ball here in the fourth quarter. They get the Let's see, we got a couple of new players in there. Number 11, that's Winslow for Hartford now. Goes inside to Duran. Duran turn around jumper, and it doesn't go. The rebound knocked out of bounds. It'll be a Raider ball. Set the Raider lineup here. We've got Mike Severston. We've got Jeff Sin. Luke Barron's in there. And Chris Mayhew. And the ball is knocked away. It's picked up by Batchelder. He goes to, well, he wanted to go to Marino, picked away by Barron now. Barron over to Barassa for the Raiders, up and in. Mark Barassa having a strong game here for Rutland tonight. And it's 52-30, 7:20 left, fourth quarter action. Back to the other way, Golder to Winslow now. Winslow gets it back to Golder. Inside to Duran, the one-handed jumper goes up. And it's pulled down by Marino. Marino now. Through the lane, up and in with the running one-hander. 52-32, 6:56 left in the fourth quarter. Barron comes back the other way for the Raiders to Severson. Out of Barron, Barron to Mayhew. Mayhew being guarded by Golder inside to Barron, and it's good. Mayhew to Barron, and it's 54-32 with 6:34 left. Fourth quarter action. Back the other way now, the Hurricanes, Marino. Outside, driving in, loses control. And it goes out of bounds to be a Raider ball. Severson going to Barron now. Luke Barron bringing it up to Jeff Sin. Jeff's shot comes up short and it's rebounded by Batchelder of Hartford. Back the other way. Golder puts it up and it's no good. The rebound, Barron throws it ahead. Here's Mayhew at the head of the pack, turns around and bounce pass to Severson. In the lane, Mike wanted to go to Jeff Sin, didn't go, and the rebound, Marino with the steal back the other way. And Duran tries to save it to be a Raider ball out of bounds with 5:47 left. 5:47 left in the fourth quarter here, and out of the ball game is Duran for the Hurricanes. And let's see, number 15, Eisenhower checks in for Hartford. And in for the Raiders is John Barker. So we got Barker, Mayhew, Sin, Severson, and Mark Barassa. We got steps on Jeff Sin in the lane. So down to 5:41, fourth quarter. The Raiders on top here, 54-32. And this is Marino now. Marino out front there to Golder, back to Marino. Marino and Golder. Goes in the lane, throws up the one-hander, and it's pulled down by Chris Mayhew of the Raiders. Mayhew ahead to Barker, ahead to Sin. Jeff Sin in the lane, jumper, and he's fouled. Well, it's going to go against Eisenhower on Hartford. Checking back in is Sheldon, and coming out is Batchelder. And for the Raiders, Ben Anderson, and out is Mike Severson. Jeff Sin's got another one here, 54-32 with 5:16 left. Make it 55-32. We got a whistle, and checking in for the Raiders is Brian Penny. Checking out is Jeff Sin. So we've got Penny, Mayhew, Barassa, Anderson, and John Barker for Rutland. And for the Hurricanes, long one from outside, three-pointer by Winslow. And it makes it 55-35, the Raiders. Ball goes to Anderson, back to Barker. Barker dribbles up, goes to Brian Penny now. Penny working against Winslow. Back to Barker. Outside to Mayhew. Mayhew now goes back inside to Anderson. Drop the handle, brings it back out. Hartford now with the ball. Comes down is Golder. And he goes inside to Gardner. Finally he puts it up and it's batted away. And Mayhew turnaround spin in the lane. Anderson, good! Pretty play going from Mayhew to Anderson. 57-35. The Raiders with 4:17 left, fourth quarter. And the Hurricanes back now with Gardner. Working against Penny, back to Golder. Golder to Gardner to Winslow. Winslow now outside, working against John Barker, the Raiders. And this is Golder driving the lane, the one-hander. The rebound tipped around, it's controlled by Penny. He works it to Mayhew going in, and it goes in! What a shot! Chris Mayhew with the shot off the glass, or the rim, whichever. It goes through, and it's 59-35, and Chris has fouled on the play. Well, that's one for the highlight films. So Mayhew with a chance to make it a three-point play with 3:51 left. And he gets it. 60-35, the Raiders on top with 3:50 left here, fourth quarter action. Back the other way, Golder now for the Hurricanes, goes to Gardner. Hurricanes with the, Gardner carried it. They got a mix here. They've got a lot of young talent here on this Hartford Hurricane team, and there's probably about 2 or 3 seniors, so they're definitely building for the future. And the Raiders going with Barassa now to Mayhew to Penny, over to Anderson, didn't get it. Ben Anderson working hard, puts up the second shot, and he's fouled. (60-35), 3:28 left in the fourth quarter, and this will put Anderson on the line for the Raiders. Checking back in is Marino and Kells for Hartford. Anderson doesn't get the first one. He's got another one coming here. 60-35. And that goes high off the rim, and it's controlled by Kells of Hartford. Kells gets it to Gardner. Gardner drives in. He's followed by Anderson in the lane. So Ben Anderson picks up the foul, and this will send Gardner to the free throw line for Hartford. Down to 3:19 here in the fourth quarter. The Raiders up. And Gardner makes it 60-36 now. And Gardner hits them both. 60-37. The Raiders on top with 3:18 left. Fourth quarter. Barker to Penny. Into Anderson. The shot. Second effort. Third effort. And doesn't go. Rebound. Barassa tried to keep it alive there. And it's pulled down by Marino. Marino going in, and he goes through the baseline, and Anderson tips it away, controls it ahead to Barker. John Barker now for the Raiders, and he gets it to Penny. To Mayhew, steps back, takes a shot off the rim, rebound Barker, puts it back up, doesn't get the roll. Anderson tried to tip it. Barassa controls for the Raiders. Back to Penny now. Penny working against McCarthy in the lane, and they got him for steps. 60-37. The Raiders on top, 2:34 left. This is Gardner to McCarthy. Drives in, up with the one-hander, and it's good. 60-39. Barker wants to inbound here for the Raiders. He goes to Penny, back to John. And John goes to Chris Mayhew now. Mayhew for the Raiders. Mayhew and Penny inside Anderson. The turnaround jumper is off the glass, in and out. Rebound controlled by McCarthy of the Hurricanes. Down and turns around, hits Gardner, who's way outside with the jumper. No good. The rebound is controlled by Mayhew of Rutland. Mayhew's drawing a crowd, and he gets fouled. And Chris will be shooting a 1-and-1. 1:55 here in the fourth quarter. Doesn't go, and it's controlled by Marino. Marino drives down, stops, pops, and he doesn't get it. The rebound, Penny. And they got a foul on, let's see, Brian Penny of the Raiders. So Hartford inbounded here. Marino now. Marino goes to McCarthy, who shoots it from way outside. Rebound, Mayhew for the Raiders. Drives in, off the glass and in. Chris Mayhew, 62-39. And a shot off the glass, no good. The rebound, steal by Kells. Puts it up. The rebound doesn't go, or the shot doesn't go. The rebound is Penny. Back to Barker now. Barker working against McCarthy. Bounce pass inside, and it's kicked out of bounds. Into Penny now. Penny into the lane, and Anderson had it and lost it. 62-39. And checking into the ball game is Myers for Hartford. 1:13 left. The Raiders on top, 62-39. Over the Hartford Hurricanes here. The shot from McCarthy outside off the front of the rim. Mayhew controls. He gets it to Penny now. Penny works it down. Barassa grabs it and goes back outside to Mayhew. Goes through the lane, has it stripped, and it's picked up by McCarthy into the lane. The jumper's good. And McCarthy gets the basket, and it's 62-41 with 45 seconds left. And this one's just about over here as Penny puts it up for Anderson off the glass. Doesn't go. But Barassa's there, and he puts it up and in. Mark Barassa. And it's 64-41. 64-41, 26 seconds left. Knocked away by Anderson of the Raiders. And it'll be a Hartford Hurricane ball out of bounds. Jeff Marino inbounds it. Gets it to Kells, who puts it up, and we got a foul. Foul's going to go against Ben Anderson of the Raiders. So this will put Kells on the free throw line with 19 seconds left. The Raiders on top, 64-41. Kells puts it in, makes it 64-42. And he gets the second one. So Kells hits them both for Hartford, and it's 64-43, 18 seconds left. John Barker ahead to Ben Anderson, has it stripped by Golder of the Hurricanes, who puts up the long one, doesn't go. And we're going to have a foul on Golder of Hartford. So we got a 1-on-1 situation here, and it'll send wait a minute, the foul was on John Barker. So this puts Golder at the free throw line. Thank you, Brian. And Golder hits the first one. And with 9 seconds left, it makes it 64-44, make it 64-45. And this one's pretty much all over but the shouting. Mark Barassa, down court, intercepted by Marino. And there's a shot at the end. That'll do it here from Hartford High. The final score tonight, the Hartford Hurricanes on the short end. The Raiders 64 and Hartford 45.